Save Lakshadweep hashtag is trending on social media these days, and a lot of people, including celebrities from different walks, have come up against the new administration. The issue has got a strong media coverage, and BJP leaders are struggling to come up with explanations and excuses. By now, it is so clear that all those arbitrary restrictions and draconian laws and amendments enforced in Lakshadweep are not just an impulsive and arrogant move by the new appointed administrator Praful Patel, but is a carefully planned BJP agenda. Lakshadweep is a beautiful coral archipelago of 36 islands situated in the Arabian Sea, 200 to 440 kilometers of western Malabar coast of Kerala. 11 of the islands are inhabited. Population is around 65,000 and 99% of them are Muslims. Lakshadweep Islands were separated from Malabar district into a separate union territory for administrative purposes on November 1st, 1956, during the reorganization of Indian states. In 1973, it adopted the name Lakshadweep, meaning 100 islands in Malayalam. The headquarters of the new union territory remained at Kozhikode for nearly a decade, until it was shifted to Kavaratti in 1964. Agatti Aerodrome on Agatti Islands is the only airport in Lakshadweep. The other islands are linked by helicopter or boat services. Tourists essentially need a permission to visit the islands. Foreign nationals are not permitted to visit certain islands. There were certain laws and rules which was established to protect the ecosystem of the islands and the heritage of the people. Parts of the island system have been deliberately kept detached from tourism to preserve their rich natural habitat. The carrying capacity of the island is limited, and there are only limited resources, including drinking water. Lakshadweep Islands are tiny and are surrounded by ecologically delicate coral reefs. An administrator of Union Territory is an agent of the President and not the head of state like a governor. All these years, civil service officers, either IAS or IPS, were appointed as administrators, and they had adequate knowledge about the ecological and social systems in Lakshadweep. But the newly appointed administrator, Praful Patel, is just a politician, former Gujarat Home Minister and a close acquaintance of the Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He is also the administrator of another two union territories, Dadra Nagar Haveli and Daman Diu. It's been only a few months since his appointment, and he has already disturbed the lives of Lakshadweep natives. The first thing he did on his arrival was to order to arrest those who placed a placard against CAA and NRC on his way to his office. Then he proposed a series of arbitrary restrictions, reforms and amendments in the name of development. Yes, and it will all make sense. First one was the Gunda Act, or Anti-Social Activities Regulation Bill. One of the most astonishing facts about the Lakshadweep is that the jails and police lockup stays empty due to the negligible crime rate. Lakshadweep natives are considered as scheduled tribe, and they are mostly peace lovers. Fishing and coconut cultivation is their major occupation. They struggle every day to meet their ends, and no one has a criminal mentality. So one might think, okay, if the people are such peace lovers, why are they so afraid of this act? Only Gundas should be beware of it, right? But according to this act, you don't possibly have to commit any crime to get inside the bars. If the administrator thinks that someone made trouble, he can order the police to arrest them for up to 1 year without trial or any legal assistance. So why do they have to implement such a draconian law in a place which has the lowest crime rate in the country? Patel's next step made it clear. Lakshadweep Development Authority Regulation 2021. It enables the administration to relocate or remove islanders from their properties for any developmental or town planning activity. It also affords the administration the power to retain the property of islanders. So anyone stand up against this? Gunda Act. Arrest them and fill the empty jail with some people and give some actual job to the police. Next step, introduction of liquor shops in the name of tourism, which was restricted on the island because majority of the population are Muslims. They can set it up in hotels and tourist spots in the island, but why do they have to establish it in the local areas where natives inhabit? And also implemented a beef ban where most of the people eat non-vegetarian food. to this act, one cannot eat meat or keep meat. Slaughtering cattle are banned, and if anyone wants to slaughter any other animals, they should get a special permission from the authority. Non-veg food from midday meals of schools has been scrapped. So anyone eat beef, he is in jail. So by now it is clear that the agenda of the administrator is not development, but to destroy the heritage, culture and the means of living of the islanders. Next step, amendments to Panchayat Regulation Act. Clause 14 of the draft proposes that people with more than 2 kids cannot contest any Panchayat elections on the island. But why? What is the logic behind that? And it's not the end. Many sectors including education and agriculture, which was previously under the control of local authority, were made under the jurisdiction of administrator. A lot of employees were dispersed from schools, government offices and other institutions. Then shut down schools, Anganwadis, dairy farms, stating there are not enough employees. He is nuts. The administrator has ordered to sell all of the cows by 31st of this month, to shut down the government dairy farm and to provide space for Amul outlets. Further, the sheds and equipments of fishermen were demolished without any warning on the account of violating the Coast Guard Act. BJP is literally destroying their means of living. The new administration also said that the islanders should rely on Mangalore rather than Beypore for freight transit. And none of these reforms have any logical explanation nor bring development on the island. Now the smartest thing he did, because what he wanted was to destroy the island. There was not even a single COVID case reported in the island, and that was only because of the mandatory 14-day quarantine system. 7 days in Kochi and 7 days in island and vice versa. Mr. Patel was so surprised to see it was a zero COVID zone and immediately changed the protocols. A negative RT-PCR test would be enough to enter Lakshadweep, and now more than 7,000 cases and 26 deaths are reported, thanks to the new administrator. Islanders' lives are at risk as they have limited facilities in their hospitals and they have to fly to the mainland to get treatment. If the administrator really wanted to bring development to the island, he should have considered to build a hospital with better facilities first. Now it is triple lockdown there and everything has shut down. People don't get their rations and are starving. Their lives are at stake. Their future, their culture, their heritage are in jeopardy. And all of these are a well-planned project of BJP to saffronize Lakshadweep. Speak up for the people of Lakshadweep. Otherwise, their blood is in your hands too.
For more news and analysis, please subscribe newstaglive.com.